Welcome to the Tech Insider, where we talk to the people who can give you the insights and trends that matter to you in your business. I'm Christine Grail with Leica Geosystems. So tell me a little bit about the school assignment that you had. I know that you had a class project and this was in 4th grade. What did you have to do for this class project?
Build a model for a mission.
You had to build a model of a mission. There's a lot of missions there where you live, right, in California?
When Luke told me they were doing their mission projects, it brought back a lot of memories because we've all done it around here. I remember doing mine, and when he told me he had Mission Soledad, we looked it up, and there was nothing. This thing's been wiped out 3 times, and we had to start from scratch. So we did some research, and there were a few different archaeology studies done on the place, but not much in terms of documenting, measuring, or any sort of survey work out there. So there wasn't too much to go off of. So he's grown up in the 3D world with me. He's seen every project I work on. Anytime I bring work home and do it from there, he knows the capabilities and the product that we would get if we were able to measure that ourselves. So he had this crazy idea of like, okay, what if we did it?
So what did you think when Jesse first came to you with this idea to scan the mission for his son's project?
If to me it was a no-brainer, like of course, and let him do it on the clock. We scheduled the day during the week and offered support from the firm. I saw this as there's a couple of good things that can come from it. One, Jesse would get to work with Luke and get to go do this cool project, and two, we're always looking for ways to help, being able to help preserve. Like Jesse had mentioned, the thing had been destroyed 3 times, so obviously it's a risk. So having that opportunity to be able to help out, be a good member of our community, like I said, it was an easy decision for us.
So we went through all the different channels and sent them an email, just a shot in the dark. Hey, we have a mission that we need to have modeled within the next month. Can we get out there and scan it? And they were all for it. They thought it was the greatest idea. They loved it. Luke was super excited. He got to do an independent study day from school, so he can go with me and spend a long day out there, and got to capture one of the lesser known missions. And we spoke about it at one of their conferences. And
so we went and presented what we did at this project to a couple hundred people at California Mission Foundation's annual conference. And no one in there was a CAD user. No one in there is in Revit or any of the other applications. So back in the day when surveyors would measure things, we'd create all this highly detailed information, but no one would be able to get access to it unless you were a technical expert. But with laser scanning, especially for these historical preservation projects, I think it's a great way to share it with the public, to get other people excited about it. Funding is always a thing for these nonprofits. So being able to secure funding, people, the decision makers and members of the public, it's just harder to understand something unless you can see it. And so I think the visualizations are so powerful. I've been doing this for a long time. I think I got our first Leica laser scanner almost 15 years ago now. And running around with that thing and then showing people the data that we collected, I still get chills just the first time people see the data. It's so exciting because they didn't even know this was possible. People thought we used a drone to capture the data because the way we were able to manipulate the site and show it in 3D. So I think it's just such a great tool for this type of project for so many reasons.
It's been a surreal experience being able to just take this small school project that we've all just done at some point in our lives and turn it into something that is just an unforgettable memory and one of the better days of work.
Now, how does this compare to other scanning projects that you've done in your past work, as well as the work at Original Survey Solutions?
I personally do all of our processing on the office end, so I don't usually have to go out and spend these 14-hour days carrying the scanner around and doing all these setups. It seems super simple, like, oh, you just set it up and push a button. Relative to other survey work, this is probably the easiest task we could do. But it's a daunting task.
Give me an idea of the scale of this project. I know you said it's nowhere near some of the other projects that you've worked on, but it was still for 14 hours. It must have contained quite a bit of detail
And I don't know how large the area was, but give us some idea of what it entailed.
Yeah. So in terms of the 14 hours, majority of that is just due to the fact that this mission is so remote. It is in the middle of what almost looks like a desert out in the just nowhere. It's really not too big. I'd say it's probably about maybe an acre. And we didn't have to do the whole property. We just did the building itself and the foundation of the portions that were destroyed. And a lot of it is still blocked off because of just preservation purposes. Like they did build a new canopy to overhang some of the clay walls that are still up just to preserve them from the rain so they don't further deteriorate. So we didn't really go into those areas. We kind of scanned them from afar, which was a great use of the scanner, being able to capture all those measurements without having to disturb any of the preserved areas.
So did you know going into it what it was going to take to accomplish the project? I mean, you said you usually do the processing part of the data. So how did you plan to make sure that you would be able to capture everything with as few trips as possible?
That's one of the benefits of doing the processing end is I've seen where crews set up the scanner, where we take scans from, and what we would get from those. Applying that in the field was incredibly useful because we were able to really make the most out of where we were able to scan from and capture all the important details in probably the most efficient placement we could find.
Do you think that the type of scanner mattered?
The nice thing about the RTC 360 is that so you get to keep the accuracy that you could trust from the Leica instruments while having like the aesthetics and beautiful point cloud that you would get.
I talk to our team about this all the time. Our client will come up to us and they're looking to have a problem solved. People don't wake up and go, "Oh, I'm excited. I get to go hire a surveyor today." So usually people are coming to us with, "Hey, there's this thing I need to understand better. I'm trying to build something." And so we're really problem solvers is something we engage with. And in this one, our client was really Luke building his model, and so obviously there's the problem solving aspect of that. But taking the project beyond that, the people we were engaging with the California Mission Foundation, they didn't even know what laser scanning really was about, and so we were working through the model for the school project, but also trying to address just trying to use empathy, which is something we try to do on a lot of our projects. We always recommend standing in the shoes of your client. I learned that from one of my mentors. He always said, think about the poor guy that has to work with your data. And so that's kind of what we thought about is, okay, so if I was trying to preserve these missions, what would I want to see? And so we started doing some stuff, just creating some different visualizations, showing some cross sections. They're always trying to preserve, these are unreinforced, like stucco masonry buildings. We're in earthquake country. So, what information would be critical for them? So we kind of acted like it was a typical project and just put ourselves in our client's shoes to try to create deliverables we thought would be helpful. And that seemed to really resonate with them.
And so what did you do? Did you bring in some visualizations to show? Did you bring in something like a fly through or some pictures to show your class?
Pictures.
And what did your classmates think?
My classmates liked it a lot.
It just feels too fun to be an actual career. Like it's very exciting, and I hope Luke and some of his classmates that have seen what we get to do out there kind of gather that same interest in this profession, see the different avenues that you could take in this career path and the cool things that you get to do and places you get to go.
How did Luke's involvement and the need to create a scale model impact the educational outcomes? I mean, here you are, you're a business, you are working with clients on a regular basis who have real problems to solve. And this was a little bit different of a challenge in terms of having an opportunity to really showcase what the technology is capable of for historical preservation, but also just to get students involved in that process. That's a really fun place to be.
Yeah, I agree. I do a lot of outreach personally and encourage others at our firm to do it with schools, trying to get people excited about what surveying is. I think it's a very noble profession. It's also can be a really lucrative profession. There aren't enough surveyors around. So I think a lot of times surveying just has a little bit of a marketing problem. People don't know we exist. And so trying to get out and inspire people to go to the schools, show, hey, it's not just about standing in the road with the camera or doing traditional surveying work. We're working on high rises. We're working in tunnels. We fly drones. We build 3D models. Make it exciting and show how the data can kind of come to life and how it can be useful. So, just thinking about this with the school and Luke, I just really like to see the excitement. And the executive director of the California Mission Foundation got really excited about this, and he started talking about how they've raised funds to do field trips, but they've kind of focused more on the children that live in the vicinity of the missions. But after talking to Luke and seeing his passion for this project, it got him thinking about, hey, we need to get kids from these inland counties out to the missions as well, because the missions were created, California was settled by the coast. So most of the missions are in the vicinity of the coast. And our headquarters is in Modesto. We're in the Central Valley, and we're pretty far from the missions. Jesse was talking about the drive. And so, allocating some funds to get more kids exposed to the history, that project-based learning like we're talking about. So I just think it's just such a neat thing. So we're able to help the community. We're able to help Luke. We're able to expand the mission program. And it was kind of a small thing for us to do, but I really feel like it's having a big impact. And I love things like that.
Well, if Luke grows up to become a surveyor someday, he will look back on that and he will be so proud of himself for sure.
Right.
So where are you going to take this next? Are you going to scan some more missions there at OSS?
So we've had some talks. Obviously, we do have the capacity to contribute, and we do like helping out the community, excuse me. And they're also talking about being able to allocate some funds because they have some real projects that they were talking about. I can't remember the exact details, but they have some historical finishes or areas that are going to be restored, and things that haven't been accessible for a very long time. And so they're talking about doing some data capture on that so that they can kind of plan the restoration and also document it in place before they do that, so that they're trying to keep it as accurate to the original as possible. So we've been talking about some other projects and some other applications for this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. We focus more, it feels, on construction and tenant improvements or mechanical spaces or construction quality control traditionally with our laser scanning. So being able to get into this, I think it's refreshing for the team to be able to do some other things and interface with people we don't normally work with.
Do you have any thoughts on your project? Do you want to do it again someday?
Yeah.
What are we going to scan next? What would be fun to go out and scan?
Another mission.
Another mission?
hmm
I think we've got 20 something of them we should do, huh?
Yeah. It would be fun too.
That would be fun. There'd be a lot of long days, though. Are you okay with getting up at 3 a.m, 22 more times?
Yeah.
That's good.
Be sure to check out the description for additional resources on this topic. If you enjoyed this content, give us a like. If you'd like to see more of this content, be sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Tech Insider.